So some obscure Resident Evil facts. So I'm going to lower the brightness so that it's not disturbing you. So, first one that there is Leon is scared of lightning, which is called astrophobia, but not thunder. And that is, I guess, from Resident Evil 6. Oh, mind you, these will be like spoilerful if you're not aware of what happens in certain games and stuff like that. So in case you want to avoid spoilers about something, do not watch this. I don't know what will be in these facts, so you might spoil deaths or whatever, Chris has a fear of late night phone calls because that's how he learned of his parents' death. That's tragic. Pierce is very heavily implied to be bisexual. By Pride. The B in LGBTQIA+ is not a silent letter. Due to a file in Revelations 2, his concept art also implies this. If you know, you know. I don't know. Do you know? Can somebody let me know? I want to know. I want to know what is in his concept art that implies this. I need to know. Now I need to know. Is Pierce the first confirmed gay? Half gay. The first queer confirmed. Lady D is confirmed. But like, yeah. Okay. But anyway, that is very fitting because we all know what happens in Resident Evil 6. The Hound Wolf Squad is the only squad Chris has had. Again, the Hound Wolf Squad is the only squad Chris has had that have all survived the entire game, which is very tragic. Okay, hold up. I'm trying to figure out how can I be reading these but not having, because it's a little difficult to just hold it with one arm and cup the microphone with the other. So let's see, can I have it like this? Oh my god, I'm brilliant. I'm so intelligent. Okay. Wesker and Birkin were childhood friends. Makes sense, both fucked in a head. The Cerberus are all clones of each other. I'm going to lower the gain a little bit. Are all clones of each other, which is why they're all Doberman. Oh, that's interesting. I never realized that they're all Doberman, but I guess it makes sense. Leon is a terrible driver, crashing one of just about every vehicle type, including cars, a boat, a motorbike, a plane, and a helicopter. He's a loser, what can I say? Sheva is one of the only left-handed characters. Queen, the queen of my heart, absolute slay. I am left-handed. I knew she's it. Left-handed people just do it better. Don't know what the it is, but yeah. Wesker wore glasses to hide his emotions and later his red eyes. Both of us do assume he ever had any emotions. Okay, moving on. We read these. Okay. Chris can play bass guitar. That's kind of hot. Ada Wong isn't her real name. I mean, quite understandably, but also just think about it. Isn't it so funny and very sad how Leon has his whole life essentially uprooted and he spends willingly a big chunk of his life chasing after this woman and he doesn't even know her real name. I doubt she has ever told him, and I also wish there was some like hint or Easter egg so that you could know what her name actually is. I just, like it fills me with so much intrigue, but it's like I can't imagine any other name for her, Vector is Japanese. An X fact says Vector is the only character that can canonically turn invisible. Hung can too, but only in various mercenary SS soldier who shot Birkin and started the outbreak had the call sign Ghost. Nighthawk had 2 call signs, the other being Lone Wolf. Barry Burden and Wesker are the same age, however, Wesker appeared to stop aging at 38 years old after infection, but close enough. I mean, baby girl looks like a fucking lizard, so like, don't know if that really worked in his favor. Jake Miller was conceived before Wesker was infected with the progenitor virus, making his immunity to the C virus a plot hole. Oopsie daisy. Lobo is the only member of the Hound Wolf Squad that had worked with Chris prior to Village. See Heavenly Island. Next up, we have here Pierce was introduced in the comic The Morrowa Desire set before Resident Evil 6. Next up, we've got Chris and Jill both know 7 fighting styles. Leon knows 6. Hot shit. Lady Dimitrescu is highly implied to be lesbian, and now she's fucking confirmed. Fight with me in the comments. You tried last time, and how did that end up? Funnily enough, I had, if any of you, if the person who commented those things is watching, hi, I still remember you. I had a lot of fun. But if any of you saw that debate in the comments, I hope you had as much fun as I did. Before the person deleted those comments. Moving on. Heisenberg was the one who told Chris and the Hound Wolf Squad about Miranda, though planned to betray them from the beginning. That is so interesting. It's crazy to think that, I don't know, that he was like in contact with Chris and like the squad and everything. Anyway, Ethan's immortality was gained back in Resident Evil 7 at the dinner table scene with the Bakers as they resurrected him after Jack killed him. Now, I am an Ethan Winters apologist. Well, no, there's nothing that man needs to be apologizing for. I am his keyboard warrior, okay? So like that man can do no wrong in my eyes, and I Wesker made his own blueprint for an entire POW weaponry, which later inspired the creation of Thor's hammer and modification based on his original samurai edge called the AW model. Jake Miller is an incredibly gifted pianist. Hot, I guess. Chris Redfield was a notorious prankster during his days at Stars. I mean, that fits his personality so much. When Chris went after Edonia, when Chris went missing after Edonia, one of the people Pierce contacted was Sheva. God, there's so much of Sheva, yet there's not enough. Capcom, bring her back. Leon and Wesker never meet nor interact directly. I mean, frankly, I can't even imagine them interacting, like, even though interaction in Death Island of Jill and Leon felt kind of like a fever dream because it felt like two worlds are colliding that should never collide. I don't know. Hank has also never interacted with any of the main characters, including Wesker. During Resident Evil 2, Wesker/Ada and Hank were working against each other to obtain the G virus unknowingly. Some, if not all, of Wolfpack survived the Raccoon City outbreak after sparing Leon, Claire, and Sherry in betraying Umbrella. The BSAA were actively working against Chris and the Hound Wolf Squad in Village, implying to even have the green line to kill them. This is very interesting. I had no idea about this. Wow, that is so. Isn't Chris like a co-founder or something like that? Doesn't he have like a pretty important position? And he works for them still, doesn't he? Or did he start some? Or is he? Oh wait, no, right. Didn't he separate from the BSAA at that point? Or is it after Village? Or am I remembering wrong? Am I making shit up? Zoe Baker after Resident Evil 7 is implied to have become an informant for Chris Redfield and a journalist. Hank agreed to personally train Vector after they fought to a draw. Vector is also the only character to ever escape from Hank's neck-snapping headlock. The USS were Umbrella's personal army, whilst the UPCS were just hired mercenaries and in the end considered a liability. Simmons from Resident Evil 6 was one of the ones responsible for passing the vote to blow up Raccoon City. And you thought you couldn't hate the man anymore, and then he proves you wrong. About 10% of humans have immunity to the D virus, and Umbrella never figured out how. Chief Irons was straight up a serial killer, able to cover his tracks thanks to Umbrella's involvement, while also being paid to stay quiet about their experiments. Now I knew I never liked the man. That man gives me the fucking ick. But I wanna know, who did he kill? A fucking straight up serial. Is it like a 3 and up a serial killer though? So I'm imagining like fucking 50, you know. Hank developed his own fighting style called Close Quarters Quarantine Battle Zone after Umbrella's downfall in 2003, in which he became a legendary mercenary. I feel like it might be a little too harsh. Thanks to Shadows of Rose, Chris is implied to be still working well into his 60s, as well as the Hound Wolf Squad. Kay from Shadows of Rose is heavily implied to be an older canine from the Hound Wolf Squad. The new Death Island CGI movie is not only the first time we'll see Jill in a timeline since 2009, but also the first time we'll see Leon and Jill on screen together. Have you watched Dead Island? Let me know what you thought of it. I am unfortunately quite not unhappy, but I was quite let down. I have part 2 here, so you know what? Let me give you a quite long video. So let's read these as well. The white dog you saved in Resident Evil 4 is a reference to Huey, the dog in Capcom's other game, Haunting Ground, which was released at around the same time the original Resident Evil 4 was. The main character Fiona also shares resemblance to Ashley. relationships, like Leon and Ada. And like the chemistry between Claire and Leon is also kind of unavoidable, and Carlos, in my humble opinion, flirts with anything that has legs. So, bless him, I love him. So yeah, but I always quite liked the idea that there's something, I wouldn't say necessarily romantic, but like something very special for Chris and Jill. You know, like obviously they were partners in their early 20s. Like there is something special, but I always like the idea that perhaps they're kind of like, I don't know, because I don't want to make everything a romantic relationship. They absolutely never have to be, but maybe at least one-sided. I always thought that maybe Chris potentially could like Jill in that way, but I like that he's someone who never really got a clear romantic interest, because you don't need romance. Yeah. The person added an edit. A few people have said Claire and Steve, but Steve was only 17 at the time of his death, so no, I don't care how much chemistry they might have had. He was a minor and Claire was 19. In the original Resident Evil 2, Jill had a picture of a man on her desk, and in the remake it is changed to a dog instead. They really made her a lesbian, didn't they? I love how she had a fucking man on her desk, and they're like, nope. Jill Valentine would not have that on her desk and gave her a dog instead. That is a big slave. That is a big, big slave. I would also have a dog on my desk rather than a man. Barry Burton is one of the only characters in the series to actually retire, moving up to Canada with his family. He and Claire still stay in contact. Leon, oh sorry, next screenshot because I can't read the full one here. Leon's signature handgun is actually a modified samurai edge he named Silver Coast, named by Joseph Kendo, the brother of Robert Kendo you meet in Resident Evil 2 and Resident Evil 3. Originally, the gun was created for Barry Burton, but was given to Leon instead. One of Joseph Kendo's books on firearms can be found in Ethan's house at the beginning of Village. Capcom's other zombie series, Dead Rising, actually has a few references to Resident Evil in them, though my favorite is a restaurant called Chill Sandwiches. That's cute. I mean, not cute, but you get me. Louisera was a part of Umbrella's 6th laboratory in Europe, which oversaw the creation of Nemesis. Oh my god, he saw the creation of the baby girl. Good for him. I am honestly really mind blown that any of them, like the scientists, really lasted. Seeing all that, like all those nefarious plans. Like if I saw somebody creating something like Nemesis, I don't care, fuck my goddamn degree, I'm leaving. Like what the hell? Like, did you see what he looks like? Like a detail not many know about Hunk is that he possesses 2 hidden blades mounted on his wrist, almost exactly like the ones seen in Assassin's Creed. That's very cool. Jessica and Raymond are 2 villains from Revelations that are not only still alive, but in possession of the T-Abyss sample and haven't been seen in a timeline since 2005. What happened to them and the sample is a complete mystery. I think Capcom just forgotten about them. Another storyline that hasn't been explained yet is Natalia from Revelations 2, and if she may or may not be possessed by the consciousness of Alex Wesker. It is implied that in the Shadows of Rose DLC, that Mia Winters lost custody of Rose sometimes in her teenage years. I mean, it makes sense. I'm quite shocked that she lasted up until teenage years even. I feel very split about Mia because obviously no, I don't know how I feel about Mia. But the thing is, as I mentioned, am an Ethan Winters stan, so, you know, I mean, you know, Chris can canonically pull off front flips, whereas Leon can backflip. Lobo, Tundra, and Night Owl of the Hound Wolf Squad actually have little smiley faces stickers on the back of their helmets. exclusive files on the characters, including a psychological evaluation of Hunk, which is the most information we have ever gotten on his character. And they posted a link that I can't click because this is just a screenshot anyway. Wesker's British accent. That's supposed to be British accent. Okay. Was the result of each of his voice actors attempting to mimic the last. This was corrected in the remake of Resident Evil 4. In brackets, they wrote sadly. You can interact with the play park in Resident Evil 6 with Chris, Pierce, and Ada, and each of them go down the slide differently. I saw gifs of this on Tumblr. Pretty cute. So it was really funny to see Chris slide down the little slide. The Hound Wolf Squad member that tackles Ethan at the reservoir is Canine, and the one standing next to Chris is Night Owl. Night Owl is also the author of the laptop reports you find in the church and the secret underground area where the Mutamai seat is in the village. Okay. Canine is the youngest member of the Hound Wolf Squad, and the oldest is Umber Eyes. I knew Umber Eyes was the oldest, but I didn't remember Canine is the youngest. Lobo from the Hound Wolf Squad shares striking similarities to Hunk, and they posted some theory, but yeah, I can click on that. The Duke from the village and the merchant from Resident Evil 4 actually know each other, and the Duke describes them as old friends. That's pretty fun. Sergei Vladimir, leader of the UCPS, is the tallest human character in the franchise, standing at 6'7", 6'7", like that. Well, 6'7.5", like that. But like, damn, he's really giving Nemesis run for his money. Probably Mr. X as well. In a Heavenly Island comic, the man Chris sends to assist Claire in the Parker Luciani from Revelations. In Resident Evil 8, the village is heavily isolated from the outside world thanks to Miranda, and thus has remained primitive. By Heisenberg had his own arrangements with the Duke for regular newspapers and cigars from the outside. Wesker actually met Claire once while he was still leading stars. He described her as a lovely girl. That being said, Claire swears more than any other main character. Chris, Leon, and Jill. Queen. I think I saw like a gift set of all like compilation like a video of her just cussing in Resident Evil 2. It's like absolutely same. Chris and Claire have matching leather jackets that both say Made in Heaven on the back, which is a reference to Queen, the band. Although it doesn't appear in the remake, Barry's Jill sandwich line is considered canon and referenced by his daughter Moira in Revelations 2. Revelations for the 3DS was so infamous for having its text misspelled on the side of the case. Capcom had to issue replacement sleeves for all buyers who had one. Heisenberg calling Chris a boulder-punching asshole, Mrs. Feats in Resident Evil 5 either made the newspaper or someone told him personally. Maybe one of the hounds. Interesting. That is kind of random. I feel like Capcom didn't think that through and they just wanted to include the line for all the fans that have played Resident Evil 5, you know? But they didn't think of like the logistics of how would Heisenberg know of that? Because like, I bet there was no goddamn reporter when he was punching those boulders, you know? Expanding upon an earlier fact of mine, Chris knows 7 fighting styles, which are Air Force combatives, karate, boxing, judo, wrestling, capoeira, and Kali. Fun fact, I did capoeira as well. Jill also knows 7 fighting styles, which are modern army combatives, taekwondo, I just know sure, taekwondo, sorry, jiu-jitsu, gymnastics, tricking, lucha libre, and Kali. Leon knows 6 fighting styles, which are taekwondo, jiu-jitsu, wrestling, Kali, Krav Maga, and Sistema. The reason why there's no children in the village in because Sadler's blood ritual killed them all before the events of the game. That and the developers agreed child enemies would be far too disturbing. I agree. Okay. There's more, don't worry. Oops. The developer of the original Resident Evil 4 suggests that the best snack to have while playing the game is Diet Coke and lightly salted potato chips, eaten with the chopsticks to avoid greasy controller hands. Actually, I think I saw a video of him teaching people how to eat the snacks like that. I saw him eat the chopstick. I saw him eat the chips, the crisps, with the chopsticks. So it was fun. Neither Hong nor anyone in the USS wear Umbrella logo badges as much as cosplayers tell you otherwise, lol. In the Resident Evil 4 remake, Ashley refers to herself as a master of unlocking, which is a reference to Jill's title given to her by Barry in the first game. Chris and Leon were designed to be a complete opposites of each other, and you can still see that today even with the subtle details. Chris punches, Leon kicks. Chris smokes, Leon doesn't. Leon is flirtatious, Chris is indifferent. Leon is a loser, Chris isn't. I love the loser, don't worry. Wesker's red eyes glow brighter anytime he experiences strong emotions, which is why they sometimes shine through his glasses. Legit, I think only when he thinks about murder do they shine brighter. Shine bright like a diamond. Chris's Zippo lighter was actually a gift from Claire given to him when he joined Stars. Chris can't read piano sheet music, but he can read guitar. Jill can play the piano. Oh my god, when you touch it couldn't be any harder. The story behind the basement music used in the director's cut of the original Resident Evil is so infamous and has a pretty wild story behind it. The music itself is horrendously bad and said to have been composed by a deaf composer, but spoiler alert, that composer wasn't deaf at all and instead was fooling the world. The story is insane and I highly recommend checking out the video for the full story. Sorry, there's a link, but I can't do anything with it because it's just a screenshot. Built away from the USS Wolfpack has a metal prosthetic leg. Beltaway also swears more than any other character in Operation Raccoon City. The original Resident Evil 4 has more releases than any other Resident Evil game because of its success. The original Resident Evil 4 was also planned to be a lot more survival horror based like its predecessors, but the remake of the original Resident Evil didn't sell as well as intended, so the game was reworked to be more action based instead. Crimson Head zombies were also completely unique to the remake of Resident Evil and also make an appearance in Operation Raccoon City. Leon's relationship with Helena is unique in the fact that neither of them are interested in each other, and Leon instead views her as his protege, because she reminds him of his younger self. That's actually very cool. That's very cool. I actually really like them. You cannot shoot the merchant in Resident Evil 4 remake. I bet everybody tried. During his time working at the Spencer Mansion, Wesker used to take long hikes around the Arklay Mountains. Oh my god, he likes nature. This is a very disturbing thing. Mr. X isn't the only tyrant of his type. In fact, multiple of him were released around Raccoon City, and it's also implied 2 separate Mr. X's are encountered during the story of Resident Evil 2 remake. I can barely handle the thought of one Mr. X, and now you tell me that there's multiple of those fuckers running around the city. Okay. No. Out of everything, crows are the most effective carriers and spreaders of the T-virus. Hung's name is actually an acronym that stands for Human Unit Never Killed. Human Unit Never Killed. Human Unit Never Killed. Got a notification, sorry. Are we at the end? Okay, just a few more. Leon S. Kennedy is the only playable character with a middle name, that being Scott. Same goes for Chris's eye color, which was originally blue, like Claire's, until they changed it to brown and back to blue again in Village. Now the thing is, this is the reason why I also hate that every single CGI movie is supposedly true to canon, because you see, like, Leon has a completely different hair color. I think different eye color. No, I think Leon does have blue eyes in Vendetta as well. But Chris, like, he has much darker hair in Vendetta. Like, basically, he's dark haired and has brown eyes. I mean, beautiful brown eyes. I will never find a man with beautiful brown eyes. You know, you look like a baby cow. But what did he just decide to wear contacts? Like, it just doesn't make any sense. Birkin discovered the Golgotha virus by accident while experimenting with Lisa Trevor. The whole Lisa Trevor story is just so sad. In the Resident Evil remake, you can see the G virus tentacles on her back. The brand of clothing and gear the Hound Love Squad use is a real brand. You can buy exact replicas from the airsoft called Volk Tactical Gear. Their logo is printed on the Hound Wolf Squad weapons in game. Ghosts were technically made canon in Resident Evil universe thanks to 7 and 8, but seem to only relate to the mold and mutamycete. You can see Ghost Girl in 7's demo prequel, and in 8 Shadows of Rose goes in depth with him. And that would be it. I do have like one more, but it's not from this author of these posts. It's from somebody else. I'm trying to get to it. And there's quite a few, so I don't think I'll read those. I mean, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16,